What happens when a legendary player tries to downplay a rising star, only to be publicly corrected?
That if you are a smart basketball player and you watch the way she plays, you would want to play with her.
In Caitlin Clark's rookie season in the WNBA, she faced plenty of critics, one of the loudest being basketball icon Sheryl Swoopes. But as the media's anti-Caitlin narrative grew louder, someone finally stood up for her. Enter the president of the Indiana Fever, who had some sharp words that made Swoopes' comments look, well, ridiculous.
She, much like Tyrese Halliburton, she gets you the ball in places that you didn't even know you were open because she passes to space, she finds openings and ways to free up other players.
Throughout Caitlin Clark's rookie season, critics worked hard to diminish her impact. Despite her stellar performances, many media members seemed reluctant to give her the credit she deserved. They spun narratives to suggest she wasn't as special as people thought, and that her accomplishments weren't groundbreaking.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So you have players that are very significant on this Indiana Fever team that are like, I don't
want to be here.
This is where I want to be.
Yeah. Now listen,
there's
a lot of Playboy.
What kind of things you've said?
I'm not in the locker room.
Okay.
I'm talking about more social media.
Okay.
Among these detractors was Sheryl Swoopes, who consistently took jabs at Caitlin's performance, going as far as claiming that Clark was an unwelcome presence in her own locker room. The tipping point came when Swoopes made an appearance on the Gills Arena podcast, where she dropped a bombshell rumor that some of Caitlin's teammates on the Indiana Fever didn't want to play with her. Swoopes alleged that several players had even left town because of Caitlin's presence, stirring up a storm of speculation.
So if Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year, and then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had an extra year to break that record. So is it truly a broken record?
But when pressed to name names, Swoopes came up empty. This led many to believe that the narrative she was pushing was based on little more than hearsay. As the rumor mill continued to churn, Indiana Fever's new president of basketball operations, Kelly Krauskopf, decided it was time to step in. Krauskopf made it clear that Swoopes' comments were not only unfounded, but also showed a fundamental misunderstanding of the way Caitlin Clark plays the game. According to Krauskopf, anyone who truly knows basketball would recognize how valuable Caitlin is to the Fever, and any team, for that matter. If you're a smart basketball player, you'd want to play with her, Krauskopf said. She finds openings and makes passes that elevate her teammates. She gets them the ball in places they didn't even know they were open. Krauskopf's defense of Clark also pointed out the undeniable chemistry between Caitlin and her teammates. Take Aaliyah Boston, for example. She's having a career season, earning her spot in WNBA All-Star Game with the second highest fan votes. Not only that, but Caitlin and Boston made history by becoming the first duo ever to record 20-point double-doubles in the same game. Caitlin's playmaking was instrumental in both Boston's and Kelsey Mitchell's standout seasons, as Mitchell also made the All-Star team. Caitlin's pinpoint passes and court vision allowed her teammates to play their roles effectively, freeing them up to excel in ways that weren't possible before. So why did Swoopes try so hard to discredit Caitlin? It wasn't the first time she had done so. On the same Gills Arena podcast, Swoopes previously tried to downplay Caitlin's college achievements. She argued that Caitlin's scoring record was somehow less valid because of the extra eligibility granted due to COVID-19, ignoring the fact that Caitlin actually broke Kelsey Plum's record in less than 4 years. It was a strange critique, given that Swoopes herself took more shots per game in college than Caitlin ever did. And the misinformation didn't stop there. Swoopes even went as far as to say that Caitlin was 25 years old when she dominated in college, which, of course, is not true. Caitlin is currently only 22. It's one thing to be critical, but it's another to base those criticisms on completely false information. Swoopes' comments didn't hold up under scrutiny, and they certainly didn't reflect the reality of how Caitlin Clark was performing both in college and in the WNBA. Now back to Krauskopf's defense. The Fever president made it clear that Caitlin's play isn't just about scoring points. It's about making her entire team better. One of the clearest examples of this was Caitlin's performance against the Phoenix Mercury. Not only did she and Aaliyah Boston both post 20-point double-doubles, but Caitlin also set a franchise record for assists in a single quarter. Her playmaking isn't just flashy, it's effective. She set multiple Fever records for assists, and her ability to find teammates in tough spots makes life easier for everyone on the floor. Even as one of Caitlyn's teammates, Nalissa Smith, saw her minutes and production dip this season, the overall impact of Caitlyn on the Fever can't be overstated. The Fever have already won as many games this season as they did the previous year, a remarkable turnaround largely driven by Caitlyn's leadership and basketball IQ. While Smith may have had some personal frustrations, Caitlyn's contributions have undeniably elevated the Fever as a whole. What's even more striking is how Caitlyn has already etched her name into the WNBA's historical records. Against the Seattle Storm, she set the record for most assists by a rookie, surpassing the legendary Ticha Penicheiro with 12 games still left in the season. She also holds the record for the most consecutive double-doubles with points and assists by a rookie guard. Caitlyn is the first rookie to record a triple-double and leads the league in assists, an astonishing feat for a first-year player. In addition to her impressive assist numbers, Caitlyn has broken several other records, including becoming the first rookie to hit 100 three-pointers in a season, and doing it faster than anyone in league history. She's not just playing well. She's reshaping the standards for rookies in the WNBA. Sheryl Swoopes isn't the only one to challenge Caitlyn, but she's certainly been one of the most vocal. However, she's been proven wrong time and time again. Even LeBron James weighed in, supporting Caitlyn and emphasizing that players want to play with her. Caitlyn has the vision and the spirit. She's infectious, and people want to be around her, James said in a recent interview. His words echoed the sentiments of Krauskopf and Clark's teammates. Caitlyn is a game changer. Ultimately, Caitlin Clark came into the WNBA with immense pressure. Fans and analysts expected her to not only succeed, but to carry the league on her back. And in many ways, she has lived up to those expectations. Most rookies aren't tasked with leading a struggling franchise out of a playoff drought, but Caitlyn has embraced that challenge and then some. What other rookie has been asked to bear the weight of both a franchise's and a league's future? Caitlyn has proven that she thrives under pressure. Players want to play with her, as Krauskopf pointed out, because she's not just a scorer, she's a leader, a playmaker, and someone who makes everyone around her better. Sheryl Swoopes' attempts to tear her down may have gotten attention, but they've also been thoroughly debunked by facts, stats, and Caitlyn's undeniable impact on the court. As Caitlyn continues to build her legacy, one thing is clear. She's only just getting started, and as long as she's playing, no amount of criticism or rumor mongering is going to stop her from reshaping the WNBA.